Steven here, and I'm going to do a tutorial about texture packs because we just released some pretty cool stuff regarding texture packs, a new interface for building them. And what I'd like to show you how to do is create a texture pack like this one. This one is called Boxcraft and it is one of my favorites because I like things that are just really, really clean and simple. And I think this texture pack really exemplifies that. So there's very little texturing, but every block looks very, very clean and very sharp. And it's actually surprisingly simple to make a texture pack like this. So let's use this as a reference or as inspiration, but let's actually make our own texture pack. So you might have noticed we rolled out yesterday a very new interface for making texture packs. I'm going to make one here. You just enter the name of a new texture pack, like let's say new texture pack, and when you create it, it gives you a little link to click on, and then here you'll see that what it's done is it's actually cloned the vanilla texture pack for you, because you need something to start with. So you can preview everything here, and you'll see all the normal vanilla textures. But when you press change, then you can go into an interface that will let you edit it. And you can filter down what you're looking at, like for example grass, and then you can actually edit the grass however you want. Now I have one that I made earlier that I'm going to choose, and it is called Demo Pack. And I haven't actually changed anything yet. Just the reason I'm using this is because I already have set up a mod that has this line of code in it right here. So it's like the easiest mod ever to write. Just a main function with a change texture pack, and it points to the name of your texture pack. So you can actually just steal that line of code right here from the preview page. And now that we have a pack and a mod that'll load that pack, we're ready to start making our texture pack. So let's click change, and I will select the grass block as the first thing that we will edit for our Boxcraft inspired texture pack. Now, let's just do something kind of silly to start with to get a handle on how the interface works, and also just to test to see that it is working. I'm going to draw like a silly face right here, and then I'll load it into Minecraft. Now, you don't have to press save. That's kind of weird, I know, but it saves it automatically. So just by doing that, you've actually already edited the texture pack. So let me now switch over into Minecraft. I'm connected to a LearnToMod server here. Let me make it daytime. And this mod right here is that demo pack mod that I showed you a moment ago. All it does is that one line of code that loads in this demo pack. So let me load in the demo pack, and we'll see if we see faces on the sides of the grass blocks. So it freezes, that's normal, freezes for just a moment. It starts to fetch the resource pack from the internet, downloads it. It's going to freeze again while it loads it in. But it totally worked. Look at that. We have little faces on the side of every single grass block. It's actually a little bit creepy. They're kind of staring at you, every single one of them. Except notice not those, because those there are dirt blocks. Only the grass blocks have the face. So it's definitely working. So let's now actually do something a little bit more artistic than this. Now, one thing that's kind of cool is actually you can press Control Z to do undo. So that's super useful. Now, let's start flattening this out. I'm going to pick a color that I like, which I sort of like this color right there. So that's probably this one. I think that matches, but if you didn't know, one thing you can do is select one of these palette colors and you mouse over the one you want and select it, and that gives you the color. Actually, yeah, I think that's the color I want. So I'm going to start drawing. I think I want the grass to come down to there, so the dirt part will start right here. And you just color this in. You can hold down and drag and just start filling it in. It actually doesn't take that long. I got a little colored a little bit outside the lines, but you know what? That is okay. No one will get mad at me. So just once you flattened that entirely out, Then we can start on the grass part. Actually, I like to test things often, so let me just repair some of the damage from before, and let's just test that out and just see how it looks. So again, I don't have to press anything. All I need to do is switch back over into Minecraft and rerun that mod, and we should see these texture we should see the texture pack load in after it freezes, just like before. It just takes a couple seconds. And no more faces. There we go. Yeah, it's just definitely flattened out the dirt part of the grass block. That's getting close to what we want. But it's actually not quite what we want because it's a little too flat. So notice the Boxcraft texture pack, it flattens it compared to vanilla, but it's still got a really nice, clean texturing, makes it look like it's bumped out. So let's do that bump out. That's actually really simple, surprisingly. All we need to do is take a slightly lighter color and we'll put a little bit of a border, and that'll make it seem like the light is coming in from this angle and shining on the top of a little bump. And then we'll do a darker color underneath to make it seem like there's a shadow on the far side of the light. So here's our neutral color. So I'm going to select another palette color. I'll select the neutral color first, and then I'll just brighten it up a little bit. Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be that much. A little bit goes a long way. So that's the light side now. Whoops, I messed up. Good thing for Control Z. And just again, I'm trying to make it seem like the light is coming in from the top corner. There we go. So now it looks like the light is coming in from the top corner. And now we need the bottom to have a shadow as well. So I'll use the same trick. I'll select the neutral color, and then I'm going to darken it up just a little bit. It doesn't have to be too much, just a little bit. And now I'm going to shadow the bottom. And now it's kind of up to you what you want to do with these right here. What I like to do is actually just put the neutral color there. So it's kind of an in-between color from the light and the dark, and it makes it look a lot more rounded to me. So I like that. So let's test it. Again, you don't have to save. All you have to do is just rerun your mod. It's going to fetch our changes once we run it. Run that. It's going to make the request, and it downloads the texture pack. And it has to load. Oh, yeah, there it is. That looks great. I like that. So you can definitely see it looks like there's a little bump now. It looks like the block is a little bit three-dimensional. And you could change that effect if you wanted it to be a little bit more three-dimensional. You could have a little bit more light up here. You could if you wanted it to seem sharper, like it's bumping out more, you could make this brighter and this darker, and that would make it kind of exaggerate the depth of it. If you wanted it to just seem a little bit softer, you might take that lighter color and maybe you do another another line right there, which would make it seem like it's got a kind of a shallower but broader sort of bump to it, but I'm not going to do that. I actually like the cleanness of this right here. So let's start on the green part. So I'm going to take a color green that I like, and I usually like light colored greens, so I'm going to use this one right here, this color green right there, and I'm going to flatten out everything. Just flatten it all out to a single color, and I'm going to use, after I flatten it out, I'm going to use the exact same trick as before to make the top part seem a little bit three-dimensional. So I'll take this, that's our neutral green, and I'll lighten it up just a little bit. Just a little bit. Select that. I like that. And I'm going to make it seem like the sun is shining on it from the top. And now same thing with the bottom. Actually, this is a pretty good green already. Maybe it's a little too dark. I'll use that. And I'm going to put that on the underside of the green part. And again, the top and bottom corners, I'm going to use this neutral color right there. Yeah, I think that looks really nice, actually. It's pretty good, yeah. I think that's going to look good. Let's load it in and see. I'm going to refresh. And now I've actually done this before, so I know that the result here is going to be a little bit surprising. It's not going to be what you expect. Just once it loads in, yeah. See that actually didn't quite do what we thought it was going to do. It didn't flatten out the grassy part. It did change it a little bit. It's like the green under here is what we wanted, but the top looks like it's kind of the same as vanilla. And when I first did this, that confused me, but then I realized that actually there's another texture, another grass texture that we need to edit, and it's this one right here. It's called grass side overlay, and that kind of makes the texturing for the top of the grass block. The easiest thing, honestly, is just to move your color to full alpha right here. The color actually doesn't matter. Just make sure that the alpha is full and just erase it. This entire thing doesn't actually matter. You don't need this. So once you've erased it, now we've changed two things. We've changed the, oops, that looks like the old one. There's a small bug you got to refresh if you leave one and come back. But don't worry, we haven't lost our work. There it is. So there's our grass block, and now here is grass side overlay, which is completely blank now. So now that we've changed grass side and grass side overlay, we can actually refresh, and we'll see exactly what we expected to see. All right, and there it is. Yes, that actually looks quite nice. Yeah, that looks really good. And just for comparison's sake, does that look about like this? It does. It does. Our colors are a little bit brighter. I think I actually like ours a little bit better, but it's pretty cool. Oh, and you notice now if we look really close, you see they have a couple of different levels of color change. So they have one light at the top and then a slightly less light right underneath that, and then they have one very dark at the bottom and at least one a little bit less dark underneath, and it gives their block a slightly smoother shape than ours, but I think ours looks very clean and sophisticated, so I'm going to keep it the way that it is. Now, the way I like to design is just to do a little bit and then see what I like and what I don't like. And I like everything we've done so far, so the thing I don't like is that the top doesn't look correct. We have a cool side of a block, but it doesn't match the top. So let's finish off the grass block by fixing the top. So where is that? That's actually this one. It is kind of weird. It looks like it's not green, but it ends up being green inside of Minecraft. We can just ignore that, basically. So I'm going to pick a kind of light gray and basically just color this whole thing in with light gray, and then when it's inside of Minecraft, it'll end up being a green color. So color that in, color it in, color in, color in. Actually, there's a quicker way to do this, I think. I think I can just up the exposure a whole bunch. Yeah, so basically all turns white. I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to take the brightness down. Right there. Yeah, so that flattens it all out to gray. That only worked because it was gray. When you take the exposure up, then it makes everything white, and then the brightness can change the grayness of an image. So that was just a quick shortcut. But yeah, let's see how that looks. So now we have the side of a block and the top. We definitely want it to be daytime. Let's reload. And let's see if we have a flat color for the top of the blocks. It's frozen, and alright, well, it's something. It's something. Actually, that does not look quite right. It's like half flat and half not. I think I know what happened. I think it didn't quite take my changes. It looks like the way it did before I changed the exposure and brightness, so I'm just going to make a change here. Actually, let me mesh the color a little bit better. I'm going to make a change just to force it to save. It looks like maybe there was a little bit of a bug there and it didn't take the changes we did last. So let's redo that. Let it pull in the texture pack again. There we go. That's much better. That is very flat. It's too flat, though. In my opinion, it's too flat. Maybe you like it like that, so if you like it, then you can make your texture pack super flat like that, but I think it needs to have a little bit of a bump to give the blocks a distinct shape. So let's take this gray, and we're going to basically do the same trick as before. We'll brighten up the top, not too much, just a little bit right there, I think. Looks good. Maybe there, yeah. So let's brighten up the top. Whoops. Undo. Undo is your best friend when you're doing pixel art. There we go. That's the top. And now let's darken up the bottom. I think that's a little too dark. That looks a little better to me. Yeah, that looks perfect. All right, so darken up the bottom. And then I'll get those corners in with the medium color here. Cool. Let's see if that fixes it. I just don't like when you look across a bunch of them and you can't tell where the blocks start and end. I think it'll look a lot better now. Yeah, I like that a lot. Now you notice that actually this is something that Minecraft does automatically, is it rotates each block at randoms to give the ground kind of a less predictable appearance, and I like that. I like the way it ends up looking. It looks like each block is maybe a little bit higher than the ones next to it, and makes it look like it's not entirely flat, and that to me is a lot more interesting. So that's really, really cool. One thing we could do now is try to change the this little grass, these decorative grasses, because they look a little bit too realistic now compared to the flat look. I think that's this one. I think that's tall grass. So let's try changing tall grass to something that matches. Do we have any inspiration here? I'm trying to see if there's any tall grass in this picture. Actually, they use the same flower right there. I don't see any tall grass here. That's actually one thing we could do is just replace the tall grass with a invisible color, and then we wouldn't see it at all. But I don't want to do that. Let's try just kind of making it a little bit more uniform. So I'll take out some of the variation. Yeah. All right. Let's have it start at a uniform place. Yeah, okay. Alright, and then let's keep those the way they are. And I'll get rid of this one with a little bit more alpha. And yeah, so that's getting there. I'm trying to make it look less realistic. I know that's a little bit backwards, but it's just the blocks, when you flatten them out, don't look that realistic, and so if there's something next to it that looks a little too realistic, then it doesn't match very well. So, let's actually try making it extremely uniform. We'll have them each spaced out by just one. And I'm gonna fix the colors in just a minute. So I'll try that, and then this. Yeah, it looks kind of like a comb, but that's okay. Let's do one more. Yeah, I like that. And let's flatten it out a little bit. I'll use the same trick since it's a grayscale image. I could just increase the exposure and make it all white. click to save that, and then it's a little too bright, so I'll decrease the brightness. Yeah, let's try that. I don't know what that's going to look like, but that's pretty close. And since I remember there being a bug earlier where it didn't accept my change, I'm just going to make a little extra change right there just to make sure that it saves. I have no idea what this is going to look like. It might be terrible. Let's see. Let's see. Hopefully I was even editing the right one. I should have checked that just to make sure. Yeah, that's the right one. That's the right one, but I don't know if I like it enough. That's I don't know, it's kind of fun, but it's for one thing it's way too hard to see on top of the grass. It's almost the exact same size. Um Actually, I do like how uniform it looks. I think that matches with the boxy look of the blocks really well, but it's way too bright. Let's darken it. Let's darken it quite a bit. Let's try that. Oh, and just in case it doesn't accept my change, I wanna force it to, just by making a little change down there that you can't even tell. All right. Yeah, so hopefully this darkens it so we can see the grass more distinctly on top. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This is okay. This isn't that bad. I sort of like this. I don't know if I like the way it hangs off right there. Maybe I went a little too far. I should probably delete one of these. Something like that. Maybe one more. Yeah. Yeah, let's try that. It's getting there though. I do like the way it matches with the theme of boxiness. Let's try reloading. Yeah. Actually, it's still hanging off. That's oh, maybe a little less. You know what? I guess maybe it's a little bit at random. Maybe it doesn't place it right in the center of each block. But that's okay. Actually, this looks pretty cool. I kind of like it. Maybe you can do better. I might try a few more things if I was trying to make a really cool texture pack, but this is not a bad start. I think that the grass, I really like the way the grass block looks. The regular grass block, and the tall grass is getting there. It's okay. Um, and so what I might do now, if I was really trying to make a full texture pack, is I just move on, because you don't need to make everything perfect your first time. You can always come back and change things later. And I would pick the next thing that you want to work on, like once you dig down, you notice pretty quickly that there's some dirt. So maybe I would change that dirt to have the same kind of theme as the dirt that's on the grass blocks. That would be a great next place to start. I think it'd be really fun to change to figure out how to change the leaves on the trees. That's pretty that's pretty tricky. I don't think we could use the same technique as the grass blocks, because I don't think they should look super smooth. What do they do here? Oh yeah, they do something interesting where they use kind of the same technique. They make it look like very blocky, but then they have a checker pattern in the middle. That's a cool idea. So I might try something like that. The stone though, the stone has the very same technique we used to boxify the grass, so that's pretty easy. They didn't do the yellow flowers, but I think you could probably come up with a really cool way to do those yellow flowers, make them really snazzy and boxy and modern looking. That's what I like about this whole texture pack, is it's super modern. So that's going to be the end of my tutorial, but I think that anyone watching this can come up with some really cool ways to change the texture packs in Minecraft, and I hope that you'll use this new interface. It's really easy, probably the easiest way for making texture packs that I've ever seen.